everybody, it's Roger and James here from the DisKingdom Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Marvel Rising, a brand new kind of animated short series that Marvel have released on YouTube. They released, I think it's like a whole series of them online onto YouTube, but I'm going to be talking about that part of it in a minute. But James, do you want to kind of give us a rundown on what it is?
All right, so Marvel Rising is basically the Marvel version of Forces of Destiny, which we saw last year. It is a YouTube-released animated show aimed primarily at young girls, probably talking, I don't know, maybe like the 8 to 13-ish range, give or take. It stars obviously some young women superheroes. There are a couple of men in there too, but the primary focus is Spider-Gwen, now known as Ghost Spider. Squirrel Girl.
Dove Cameron, I think she did the Descendants show.
Yes. There's actually pretty solid voice cast all around. You've got Squirrel Girl, who is voiced by the young lady who will be playing her in the new Warriors series that's coming up. And then you also have Kamala Khan, a.k.a. Miss Marvel. I'm not sure what the connection to the voice actress has to that. I assume that she's also the one who voiced her in Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think Quake as well. She's the same.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Daisy Johnson is there, and that she's definitely voiced by her voice actress from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then lastly, we have Patriot, who is a young man trained by Captain America, and that's our basic cast plus a few other random characters tossed in there. The villain character has appeared, but we don't know her name yet. We only have a vague understanding of her powers, so not much there at the moment. I didn't immediately recognize her. She kind of reminded me of Shriek, an old Spider-Man villain, but I don't think that this is the same character as that. So,
yeah. See, I've seen a load of the trailers building up to it. I've been getting the press releases and the kind of the build up to this big series announcement and this big run. And then you sent me the link to the list of all 20 episodes or all the episodes so I could sit there and watch it. And my television came up and went, not available in your country. Went onto my phone, not available in my country. For some reason, my smart TV will show me all the things on the channels that aren't available, whereas my iPhone will, and on the browser, will eliminate anything I can't see. Whereas my television doesn't, so I can see them there, and I can't watch them because for some reason we're not allowed to watch them over here. I don't know why. We could see all the trailers building up to the announcement. It's like we had all the trailers, we had all the announcements, and then, oh no, you can't actually watch it. So it's like...
Yeah. And I'm sure that wasn't a Marvel or Disney decision. I'm sure there's some legal thing going on. And just to be sure, you did check to make sure that like the Marvel UK channel or whatever didn't have them as well. So that's unfortunate. And we don't know
I can't tell you what it's about.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't. Not yet, anyway. I don't know if that's unique to the Marvel UK or if it's only available in America. Like, I don't know if it's in Canada. I don't know if Asia has it, France has it, whatever. So
it's very odd on a online web show to do that.
It really is.
I can understand it if they put the whole of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. out, and because it's on Channel 4 and they've got licenses. Like, this is a web show.
It's not airing anywhere. It's not even airing on Disney XD. You know, it's just there. So
sometimes these things can get selected and they've not even been done on purpose. This has happened before where videos have been made unavailable, and it was, I remember once on a Disney Infinity live stream, we all sat down to watch the show, this big live event, and someone had selected the wrong option. And we were all sitting there going,
I remember that. But they did eventually correct that one. Yeah. It's possible that this is the same deal. Obviously, we won't know until Marvel either releases a statement or makes it available in the UK and other countries. So, we were going to talk about that, but you haven't seen it. I can talk about it, though. There's no major spoilers in it. This isn't like... Extermination or Spider-Geddon or something like that, where characters are dying left and right. No, this is a show for little girls. It's not going to be that kind of thing.
The animation looks kind of quite simple but effective.
It's actually, it's pretty solid. I like it better than the Forces of Destiny animation. It's a little bit smoother, which doesn't mean it's smooth. It's just smoother than the Forces of Destiny style. But it's actually pretty fluid, and unlike Forces of Destiny, which was a series of shorts that were kind of not connected at all, the theme was they star the women characters. This actually is each individual episode builds to the next episode, and if you combine them all together, like they did in the video I tried to link, it's basically a 20-minute television show.
Isn't there a television show series coming up on Disney Channel? And this is like the warm-up gig.
I would assume so, and I would imagine that this episode or the series of things will probably end up being the pilot episode or the first episode that gets aired on.
I do remember something. I remember seeing an email. I think there was like, I think this is like the slow warm up to when because they've been doing this a lot more of. I think they realise now that kids are more likely to watch it on YouTube than they are on the Disney Channel. But this cast is too big for just that being the end of it.
Right, and when you see it, you'll notice that nothing actually gets really resolved in this episode. There's the initial misunderstanding where Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl are teaming up, and they're going after Spider-Gwen. They're using a very similar setup to her in the comics, where it appears like she has killed somebody. And that's not actually how it occurred, but she can't prove it. In the comics, it was her version of Peter Parker. In this version, it's an Inhuman named Kevin, who has Iceman-style powers. So they fight because Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel think that she's a bad guy to begin with, and then she convinces them that she is, in fact, not. And that's where the episode ends, and presumably where the series will start is them kind of working together but secretly to prove her innocence. And I imagine that's kind of where we'll go for maybe the first season. That'll be the plot of the first season.
Yeah, I was just looking to see, because it's gone on about the shorts and stuff. It just seems like a lot of effort for, because it's all like, it does say, it says TV series, the first trailer for animated shorts. It definitely, it's like you say, it does look like it's got a very good thing, and I also love how they are positioning it in a slightly different way at a different audience. It's not for everybody. It is very inclusive and all the rest of it, and it's very on trend. But more importantly, it's about giving these characters like Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and Spider-Gwen and Quake and stuff that room to grow and to become. You don't. When you have these kind of TV series, you can't always put that thing of like kids seeing it now. They might buy the toys, they might not anything, but as they grow up, they become more aware of these characters because they've seen them on a show, and it becomes ingrained in them. So what we're seeing now with this, in 10-15 years' time, these characters are going to be even bigger. And you're going to have a new generation of like, this will just be, when I grew up on Spider-Man and his amazing friends with Iceman, and, we had Firestorm, and, we had, the X-Men comics or cartoons and the Spider-Man cartoons. That all ingrained in me going forward, those X-Men characters, so many people instantly go back to that 90s show because that's what introduced them. And these kind of things, I know with a lot of the other characters like Captain Marvel and Black Panther, they were slowly drip-fed to me in video games. So when they came along, you're like, you're familiar, but you're not. And I think this is like setting the groundwork up for down the line of being a bigger thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if Marvel Rising is really meant as like a current push. Obviously, as you mentioned, there's going to be toys, tie-in merchandise, all that stuff. But it's really about name recognition, and more importantly, it's about reminding us that there are these women characters who are cool and they can kick butt and all that. We've got Captain Marvel coming next year, and they want people to know that they're out there, and particularly they want these young girls to know about it because they're good role models for them. Girls have the option. They can go, we're going to play with the Barbies, we're going to play with the dress-ups, but we do, if we want, have these, action figures, which have traditionally been more of like a boys thing, and it's good for them to have that option available to them.
Because while this show is aimed at girls primarily. It's still actually not. It's not what I would. It's not girly. It's just. It is a. You could drop Spider-Man and Wolverine in this series, and they don't look like they'd be out of place, and that's good. And that's the best thing.
No, none of this episode is dedicated to, Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel sitting there trading advice on boys or, whatever the heck young girls talk about. I don't know what to include, to be honest. But I know what the stereotypes are, and they don't follow most of those. The closest they have to that is Gwen Stacy is in a band, a garage band, which follows with the comics, and she gets to just be a kid in that. Not a girl, a kid. She's just not worried about superhero things. She's just the drummer playing music with her friends, and that's the closest we get to what you would consider a traditional girls show, something along the lines of like Gem and the Holograms or something. I think really reaching back with that one.
It's that kind of thing, isn't it? I think this is it's just good that they're doing it, and I think adding some different characters onto like the Disney Channel, and also all of this is probably building up as well for the streaming network as well. It's building up a new collection of bits and pieces, because I think, and also sometimes maybe test the waters, see how it goes, see if the people react to it, and then launch a full attack, rather than kind of going, no, we gonna. Because I think Marvel are being I think after the disaster of what they did with the comic books of last year, they might be a little bit more. Well, we'll just softly see if people like it before we go all in on it. Yeah,
I mean, let's not talk about the comics bit, because that's just a quagmire of toxicity. But so even knowing that this show or this series or whatever the heck it's going to be is aimed at young girls, I have absolutely no problem saying that I watched it and I enjoyed it, and I will continue to watch more episodes because it's just fun. The characters in it are fun. They've really kind of captured how they're portrayed in the comics. Miss Marvel, she's basically translated directly from it. Squirrel Girl's got that exuberant enthusiasm that she has in her own book. And then Spider-Gwen is still kind of a blank template of a character, despite having her own series for the past couple of years, and it looks like they're kind of building off of that pretty well. So the only wild cards left are Daisy Johnson, who hasn't traditionally been associated with these characters, but sure, let's use her anyway. I'm all for having her expand out. And then Patriot, who bears almost no resemblance to its comic version, so no idea what they're planning on doing with him yet.
No. But on that note, guys, let us know what you guys think of Marvel Rising. Let us know your thoughts on it. Go check us out over at DisKingdom.com. Like, follow, subscribe. And James, where can they find you?
Find me heroiclegacy.com.
On that note, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon. Laters.